How did early electronic music overcome complex software learning? Have you ever wondered how early electronic music artists created their sounds without the complex software we see today? The journey of electronic music is fascinating and reveals a lot about innovation in the music world. In the beginning, musicians relied on hardware instruments and analog technologies. This approach allowed them to create and manipulate sounds without needing to learn complicated computer programs. In the early days, instruments like the Telharmonium, Theremin, Martino, and Trautonium were introduced. These were physical devices that had knobs, switches, and other controls. Musicians interacted with these instruments directly, learning through experimentation and practice. This hands-on approach made it easier for them to create unique sounds without the barriers of software learning. As we moved into the mid-20th century, pioneers in electronic music began using tape loops, analog synthesizers, and early sound manipulation devices. These tools required some understanding of electronic circuits and sound synthesis. However, they were still more approachable than modern digital software. For instance, early synthesizers like the Moog and Buckle systems offered hands-on control over oscillators, filters, and envelopes. This allowed artists to sculpt sounds in an intuitive way. The complexity of software learning became more relevant later, especially with the rise of digital audio workstations and software synthesizers in the 1980s. Before that, the main challenges involved mastering new hardware technologies. Techniques such as tape splicing, voltage control, and signal routing were key skills for composers. Many studios had technicians and engineers who helped musicians navigate these technical aspects. In 1983, the introduction of the musical instrument digital interface simplified communication between electronic instruments and computers. This standard made it easier for musicians to integrate hardware and software, reducing the learning curve associated with controlling multiple devices. Historically, the evolution of electronic music moved from mechanical and electromechanical devices to analog instruments, and eventually to digital software. Musicians overcame the challenges of new technology by focusing on physical instruments and collaborative studio environments. This approach allowed them to explore sound creation without the barrier of complex software learning. In practical terms, this meant that early electronic music was accessible to those willing to experiment with new instruments and studio techniques. Musicians did not need advanced programming skills to create. This foundation opened the door for later generations to adopt and master software-based tools, building on the milestones of hardware innovation and studio practices that defined the early electronic music era.